Well, it's 20 some degrees and sunny and beautiful here in California, and my van is a disaster because I am trying to sort through all my stuff and pack because tomorrow I am flying back to the cold north. I'm going back to Canada for a ski trip. They haven't had a lot of snow, but then just this last week they got a dump of snow and they're getting more snow tomorrow, and then in 2 more days they are getting snow, so I am gonna go stay with a friend and ski for the first time since COVID. So the reason I'm doing this trip is basically to free up some room for my allowed days in the USA. As a Canadian, I am allowed 6 months in the US in a rolling year. So between today and a year ago today, I'm allowed 6 months. Also, although this winter I have not been here for 6 months, if you add up when I was in the US last spring and winter, I'm getting close to that 6 months. So I'm just gonna pop out of the country for a week, and that'll give me lots of breathing room because then I don't have to worry about overstaying my allowed days here in the US. I did think about popping down to Mexico and just driving down to get out of the US for a while, but there are some things with that. I'd have to get a cell phone plan for Mexico. I'd have to change my travel health insurance. I'd have to get registration for my vehicle. And I also really don't know anyone that could have made that trip. And I'm definitely not going to Mexico solo. And then just this week, chaos started down in Mexico. Probably not where I was headed, but the cartel leader was, I guess, killed. And so there's a lot of retaliation with the cartels and lots of violence. So in the end, I am glad that I'm headed to Canada and not Mexico for this little break from the US. The friend that I'm going to be skiing and staying with, her name is Jessica. We've known each other for almost 20 years. We both played wheelchair basketball and actually traveled with Team Canada and represented Team Canada at the international stage in wheelchair basketball. And so we've traveled all over the world together. We've been to Japan, China, Australia, Brazil, Europe, all over North America. And oftentimes we were roommates because we just got along so well. She's definitely one of my best friends from Team Canada, and we still keep in touch quite a bit because of van life, I would say. She lives about 17 hours, I want to say, from my home in Saskatchewan. But because I'm on the road so much, I actually see her once or twice a year. And so that's really cool to be able to stop in and see her and get to know her kids and her husband a bit more. Whereas if I wasn't doing van life, I just had, a regular life, I bet we'd only see each other maybe once every 5 years and wouldn't be as close at all. She's a lawyer, so she is going to be really busy with that and her 2 kids, but we're going to try and get out on the hill at least twice together. It is unseasonably warm in British Columbia where I'm headed. It's highs of +9 or 10 Celsius. And there's no snow in the city that my friend lives in when normally there is. It's the end of February. So I'm really grateful for that. It just makes getting around so much easier for sure. But thankfully there's still snow in the mountains so we can do some fun activities. I don't have a lot of warm winter clothes, just a couple pairs of sweats, but this is kind of all the clothes I'm gonna take. Just getting it sorted up here and then I'll throw it in my bag down there. I've just gotten so spoiled with living in the van and traveling because you have everything you need with you. So once I do go to pack for a trip like this on a plane, I just overpack or try to take everything with me, and I know I always overpack. Since I'm leaving for a week, I gotta use up all my food, so I'm gonna throw this little pizza in the air fryer, get that going. And I should probably tell you about my background with skiing. So I grew up skiing. I think I started when I was about 2.5 years old. My family was big into outdoor activities, and we lived in the prairies, but there was this little ski hill that was built into a river valley and kind of had more of a man-made hill on top of that, and it was all volunteer run. It had 1 T-bar and 1 tow rope, and that's where I grew up skiing. I think it had 3 runs. And then with my dad being a teacher, we would take every winter school holiday, we'd go to the mountains and we would ski. And eventually actually started downhill racing, and then I had my spinal cord injury at 14 and kind of just gave up skiing. Part of that was because being with Team Canada for wheelchair racing and basketball, they probably would have frowned a little bit on me doing another sport, especially one where you can get injured if you fall. They didn't ever forbid me, but they definitely wouldn't have liked it. So I just never learned how to ski after being paralyzed until 2017. So I took a few trips to the mountains and learned how to sit ski on something called a monoski. And it's just one ski that is below you. And you kind of sit in the seat, and then you have two kind of poles that have little skis on the bottom. And that's kind of how you steer. I steer mainly with my head and shoulders, and it is seriously one of the hardest sports to learn because you can't snowplow, right? When you learn to ski standing up, you can slow down by putting your skis this way, but when you're only on one ski, you pretty much have to just learn how to parallel ski to be able to be good at skiing and control your speed. And so I put in time, took several trips to the mountains, and got to the point where I was able to ski blues and greens all, on my own without falling. But since doing van life, I have actually not skied because I'm usually escaping the winter. So I have not skied since 2020. It's been a few years. I know I've got some rust that I want to get out of me, but I definitely want to get out and get back to the sport, enjoy it with my friends, and enjoy some winter wonderland while I'm in Canada. I got pizza, the ocean, beautiful weather. Why am I leaving again? Oh yeah, the days in the US. Dang it. All right, I got it done. I'm all packed for the week. Frankly, overpacked. But I also just got a text message saying that my flight early tomorrow morning has been canceled. Just completely canceled. And then 5 minutes later, I got another text message saying that they have rebooked me on a different flight. So now I leave in the evening, but I have an overnight layover in Vancouver, Canada, before flying out the next morning to my friend's place in Kamloops. So that means I'm gonna have to get a hotel in Vancouver. Hopefully they pay for it because it's their fault that I'm doing an overnight overlay in Vancouver. And yeah, I hope this is not foreshadowing on what could be a disastrous trip. So I left my van at a trusted friend's house and I took an Uber Assist to the airport. Basically, it's a regular Uber, except the driver is used to handling mobility devices like a wheelchair. I hopped on the evening flight to Vancouver, but before I did, I booked a hotel at the airport just for convenience. That way I don't have to get an Uber again. And I really hope Air Canada reimburses me because this was a $400 a night room. And I was really lucky to get an accessible one at the last minute. It's got the nice bathroom with pocket door or sliding doors. It's also got a little pass through so you can see into the bedroom. But I chose the room with a bathtub. They had the option for a shower. And you just wheel in and sit on the bench. But I love a bath, and even though I'm tired and just want to go to bed, I'm definitely gonna have a soak in that tonight. Only downside is there is carpet. I mean, every hotel has carpet, so it's a little harder to wheel in. But nice king bed, pretty high bed. It'll be a bit of a hike to get up into, but I can do it. And there's the view, the $400 view of the airport terminal. I don't think I've ever stayed at an airport hotel like this before, so I actually think it might be quieter than like San Diego, where there's planes flying overhead. Since I'm in Canada, I might as well grab a good old-fashioned Canadian Tim Hortons breakfast before my flight to Kamloops. I got my rental vehicle and I am low-key, no, actually pretty impressed because they parked so that I can access the driver's side easily, like it's not next to a vehicle. And then they also left room at the trunk so that my wheelchair could get there. So they planned ahead, just knowing because I had ordered hand controls. So yeah, good job, budget. Well done. It's these little things that make life so much easier. If it had been parked like any of these other vehicles next to one, I would have had to go back inside to get somebody to, move the vehicle for me. So it saves me some hassle. So figuring out how to get my chair into a new vehicle is always a bit of a situation. So this vehicle doesn't make it easy because it's got this console here, and I can't seem to get this passenger seat to flip forward. I'm gonna have to take my wheelchair apart, take the wheels off, pull it over me, and then seat it on the back seat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have patience and take my chair all apart and get it in. I am not a fan of the motorized reclining on the seat because it's so slow. But let's see. I have not done this in so long. Yeah. Don't get my nice white pants dirty. Oh, what are we caught on? Caught on something. What? There we go. Okay. Okay, wheelchair's in, frame there, wheels behind me. This is gonna take some getting used to because I feel so low to the ground compared to my big van where I'm up high, I can see everything, but yeah, I just gotta adjust all the mirrors and get used to driving this little car. All right, so these hand controls are a little different than mine. You still push for the brake, but mine I pull towards me for accelerator, and this you actually press down. So that'll be the biggest learning curve. I mean, nothing happens when I pull, so I'll probably get used to it pretty quick. So I made it to my friend's place, and they're out skiing, and I am not. So this is one of the frustrating things about trying to organize or book accessible activities. So there is an adaptive ski program here in town where my friend lives, or just up the mountain, like half an hour away. And I looked them up. Their website said they can accommodate lessons for sit ski if they're booked 72 hours in advance. I reached out to them a week in advance of even my arriving, and now they're saying they're having trouble getting me a booking. So number one, I can't just rent their equipment. They just don't, have like ski rentals for sit skis. Hi. Oh, hey. Hi, Timbit. This is Timbit. This very Canadian cat name. So number one issue is I can't just rent a sit ski from them. They will not just loan out skis like normal ski rentals. I actually have to book lessons with them to be able to use the equipment. And since I don't have my own equipment, that means, I've got to pay for lessons and an instructor, which I'm not too upset about because I haven't skied in about 6 years. So, and being our new equipment, I'm happy to have an instructor at least for like one day to get set up, get the rust out, and then maybe I could have skied on my own. So number one, I have to book a lesson. Number two, they said they won't book a longer lesson for me because they don't know me. I'm not part of their like regular programming, so I can only get 2-hour lessons as opposed to they also offer 4-hour lessons. And number three, the other issue I'm having is they say they need 3 instructors to be able to run a sit ski lesson, which is like, I've definitely skied with just one instructor before when I was learning how to ski. So with all of that in mind, they could not accommodate me to ski today. So far for the week that I'm in town, they've only found 1 slot for a 2-hour lesson tomorrow that would have enough instructors. So, yeah, this is the challenge with doing accessible activities. It's just frustrating because it's amazing that there is a program there, but then it's really, not usable, especially when you're not planning months in advance. So I'm at home while my friends are out having a good time skiing. They're not able to ski tomorrow when I'm having my lesson, so I don't even think I'll be able to get to ski with my friends at all this week. So, yeah. But at least I can get out on the snow tomorrow, so I'll keep you posted and see how that goes. Usually when I visit these friends, I stay in my van, but since I don't have a van, they have this sweet little cozy guest room. It's got a Murphy bed that they have all set up. And then right next door, got a sweet accessible bathroom with, of course, a tub. You know I love that. And I pretty much have this whole wing of their house to myself. It's a great little bungalow. Of course, the house is all accessible, and this is an amazing little touch. I love visiting friends with an accessible house because of all these little touches, like this little handle on the door right here. I'll show you what that's all about. So after I come through a door like this, it's hard to reach back and grab the handle of the door to close it. But she's got this added little handle here. And boom, just like that. It's easy enough to close the door. Alrighty, well, I went skiing and it did not go well. Where do I even begin? To start, first of all, they would only allow me to book a 2-hour lesson, which isn't a lot. You don't have a lot of time getting used to new equipment. And when I got there, the equipment they had set up for me was just not at all what I needed. They had a huge bucket. That's kind of the part that I sit on the ski, and 2 skis, something called a bi-ski. And so total miscommunication with the person that booked me. To be honest, I felt like she didn't ask enough questions. They didn't have like a really good intake process for new skiers. And so finally, we wasted a lot of time setting up a new ski for me. And the mono ski that they did have was not great. It was nothing like what I had skied on before. I had also taken my friend's mono ski, thinking that I could possibly use that because it's very similar to what I've skied on before. But they would not let me use that equipment because it didn't have attachment points for a tether. So that was another issue. They insisted that I be tethered, which is basically having like a rope, or a harness around me from me to the instructor. And then, because we were spending so much time when I got there setting up new equipment, since I only had a 2-hour lesson, we didn't have a lot of time on the ski hill because we were fiddling with equipment. Even once we got on the ski hill, we did 1 run and then had to fiddle with equipment. So I only got 2 runs in, and I was on a tether the entire time, and it just wasn't good, you guys. And I have a decision to make. They are trying to find me more time to ski. They don't have anybody available for the next 3 full days, but maybe into next week they might be able to fit me in. But I was like, is it even worth it? I'd only get, again, 1 more 2-hour session of skiing in, and then I have to fly back to California. So is it worth it? Because I know the equipment isn't suitable for me, and it's a lot of money. Oh my gosh, lift tickets are like a couple $100. The lesson is a couple $100 for 2 hours on the ski hill. And the equipment isn't even like what's gonna help me ski well. So I think I'm just gonna tell them to cancel any future lessons that they might be able to make for me. So yeah, came all this way and just had like 2 hours, not even 2 hours on the hill of crummy skiing with equipment that just wasn't suitable for me. And a lot of it is, I know they have new staff that, just aren't familiar with skiers that can ski independently. I think what they expected was that I would show up and the instructor or instructors would hold the handle. Also, the ski had a handle and pretty much just steer me down the hill, and I'd be kind of along for the ride, kind of doing a little bit, but that is what I think they expected, and not like a higher level athlete that has skied before and can ski independently, even though I tried to make that clear in my communications when I was booking with them. So pretty disappointed. I came all this way and not even gonna have a good experience skiing. So I'm gonna find something else to do to keep myself occupied for this week. Well, since skiing isn't gonna pan out, I just don't want to spend a lot of money using equipment that's gonna not work well for me. So I have some time to spare, and I have a friend that lives about 2.5 hours away from where I'm staying with my other friend. I'm gonna go visit her, and then I have an exciting adventure, nice winter adventure planned for the both of us. So. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, hype, and subscribe so you don't miss out on episode 2 of this Canadian winter adventure.
A bunch of the little ones as well. So she got spooked, sent her cubs up.
Well, another train right at the airport entrance, pretty much. And for the first time ever, I got pulled aside at customs